So, I previously did a video talking about the Borat 2 trailer. I'll try to tag it up here. If I forget, sorry, but you can go in my channel and just see that video. I basically address all my concerns about the trailer, and I talk about the current state of comedy, how I feel like there's too much Trump-related humor is too topical, and by consequence, that's going to kind of date some of these comedies that are coming out. I talk about how recent Will Ferrell movies have been doing that, like throwing in a Trump joke here and there, and that won't age well. I had two major concerns with the Borat trailer. One was that, being too topical, being too focused on the coronavirus, on Donald Trump, on the upcoming election. The other thing I was worried about in the trailer was the daughter character. So Borat's fat friend is not in this movie, and he is replaced with Borat's daughter. And I was worried because I just didn't find her funny in that trailer. So did those concerns become reality? Well, first off, let's talk about what this movie is about. The trailers don't really make it clear what this movie is about. One might argue that it's because the trailers don't want to spoil anything. I feel like it's because the movie's a little incoherent, but I digress. So this movie picks up 15 years after the original Borat. The original Borat was about a Kazakhstani guy who's making a documentary for his country on the culture of the US. 15 years later, he's a pathetic loser in his city because the documentary made a fool out of Kazakhstan, and he's basically publicly humiliated. He has a chance, though, to redeem himself. The only way he can redeem himself is if he offers a huge gift to a cabinet member of Donald Trump. So I'm sure you guys have seen on the news that Mike Pence is in this film, Rudy Giuliani is in this film. Expect some weird pranks going on there. I should preface this review by saying I don't really have any... I'm Canadian, so I'm not really into the whole American politics thing. I don't really follow it that much. Even then, I'm not really attached to a certain political party. I like to be as politically unbiased when I watch these movies because I understand the importance of film, and film should be able to poke fun at both sides. So just because I don't agree with a political message in a film doesn't mean I can't appreciate the film anyway. Because film is freedom of speech, you're allowed to say what you want, and at the end of the day, I'm just evaluating the film. So I'm not saying if I agree or disagree with the thoughts of this film. I don't know, to be quite honest. I don't really have an arm in the fight. But I just thought I should say this because if I point out some negatives with the film, I'm sure some people are going to be like, oh, you're a Trump supporter, yada, yada, yada. And then if I say positives with the film, I'm going to be like, oh, you're just anti-Trump. I don't give a shit, to be quite honest. I'm not a politics guy, I'm a movie guy. So I'm going to start with the positives in this film. Sacha Baron Cohen, talented guy. You can't deny that. He puts his life on the line. He puts himself in these real-life scenarios and doesn't crack a smile. He's really good at playing different characters, too. The way Borat behaves is different from the way Bruno behaves, is different from the way Ali G behaves. They each have their own quirks, and that's what makes these characters so memorable. When the original Borat came out, everyone was like, Yig Shemesh, my name is Borat, and they kept imitating him. Even with his new TV show, Who is America, the characters in that are very flamboyant and very fun to watch. I especially like the Israeli sergeant, and I also like the university professor who's all sensitive. Sacha Baron Cohen creates some neat characters, and the fact that he's able to improvise and do stuff on the spot, he's a very talented person, and he's having a really good year. He's got the release of this movie. He was also in the recent Aaron Sorkin film, The Trial of the Chicago 7, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm dying to see because I love Aaron Sorkin. I love The Social Network, obviously. I like Moneyball. I even liked his directorial debut, Molly's Game. So I'm very interested in that movie, but I haven't had time because of Zombie-thon. So Sacha Baron Cohen, great as always in this movie. There are parts that made me laugh in this movie. There aren't as many laughs as in the original Borat. And I'll get to that when I talk about the negatives. But there's some parts that poke fun at America's view of feminism, feminism itself in America, poking fun at the technological age, internet, stuff like that. And when it was jokes like that, poking fun at society as a whole, those are the ones that I found tend to hit well. So it was funny. You got Borat doing his usual Borat shtick. Why didn't I like this movie as much as Borat, the original? I thought it was a little too topical. I was concerned about it by watching the trailer, and my concerns became reality. Let's look at the original Borat. That movie is a commentary on Bush's America, the xenophobia that ensued after 9/11. The way we treat women, the way we treat immigrants. It talks about all of those things and it pokes fun at America, but it's not too direct. I feel like had they put Bush references and had a scene where we make fun of Bush's VP, who I'm blanking on, the guy with a crooked smile, the one who was played by Christian Bale in that movie. If you had like a prank with him, that doesn't age as well by today's standards. And you even look at something like Bruno, they do a prank involving Ron Paul. Ron Paul at the time was running for the candidate for the Republican Party, but you watch that scene today, and people who don't know Ron Paul are kind of just left scratching their heads. They're like, who is this? I'm not too sure. Doesn't pack the same punch as it did back in 2007 when Bruno came out. And that's basically the fear I have with this movie. This movie has some stunts with Mike Pence, Rudy Giuliani, but in 20 years, when this movie is 20 years old, is it going to pack the same punch? I don't think so. Actually, I know for a fact it won't. And, I mean, if the movie is going for something topical, sure. The original Borat to me is timeless, and this one isn't timeless. So that's a big negative I find with the movie. The other concern I had while watching the trailer is that I thought the girl character was annoying, Borat's daughter, and I thought she was a little annoying in the film as well. She does a good job, and she doesn't break character, and you gotta remind yourself that this actress, just like Sacha Baron Cohen, is in real-life scenarios. So you gotta give the actor props to that. I just didn't think her line delivery was as charismatic as Sacha Baron Cohen's, or even the sidekick in the original Borat. I just didn't think she was funny, to be quite frank. The thing that Borat and Bruno do very well is that they have those gut-punching scenes where you're like, holy shit, this is the society we're living in. So if you look at Bruno, Bruno had that scene where he's auditioning kids for his photo shoot and he's talking to the parents, and he tells the parents, like, hey, are you okay with having your kids surrounded by bees? And the parents are so obsessed with having their kid become famous, they say, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, no problem. Scenes like that pack a punch, and you're like, oof, is that the society we truly live in? And that's what I think Borat and Bruno do well. And I find Borat 2 kind of strays away from that, and they have more scenes where they just rely on gross-out humor. But yeah, there's poop humor and other bodily fluids involved. And to me, it's not as funny as Borat, where you're just like, oh my God, are there actually people who think like that in our society nowadays? People react like grossed out and upset in Borat 2. And I'm like, yeah, if I was in that scenario where I watched that many bodily fluids, I'd probably be grossed out as well. So it doesn't pack the same punch to me. So yeah, cheap laughs, gross out humor versus Borat, which, look, Borat did have some immature jokes. They had the scene where Borat's running naked with the fat guy chasing him, and they 69 and stuff like that. But they balanced it well. There was a dumb joke, but then there was a smart joke. Then there was a dumb, gross-out joke, then a smart joke. There was something for everyone. The whole spectrum of the IQ scale was pleasantly surprised by Borat. Versus this, I feel like it's a bit more towards the low end of the IQ spectrum. And everything that was topical... Look, I go on Reddit a lot. I see a lot of memes about current things like the election and the coronavirus memes. I've seen every joke being done. So to watch this movie, it doesn't, like, I've seen all these jokes already. Like, I feel like it's just like a little late to the game. I don't know. That's maybe me. And that's what I mean when I say this movie is going to get outdated very quick. Like, in 5 years' time, are people going to laugh at Corona jokes? I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's funny now because we live in it. It's in our everyday life, so we poke fun at it. But are we going to, like, in 5 years still do jokes about coronavirus? Hopefully when it's gone. I don't know. And a lot of your enjoyment of the film is going to rely on that. Whether you don't mind a movie being super topical and probably is going to be outdated by January of this upcoming year. So yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings on Borat 2. There's been a string of comedy sequels coming out. There was like a Bad Santa 2. There was Dumb and Dumber 2. And this movie is not as bad as either one of those movies. At the same time, I don't see myself ever rewatching this movie. Yeah. Mixed feelings overall about the film. I didn't get as many laughs as I did with the original Borat. I don't think the political commentary was as subtle and clever as the original Borat or even Bruno. Or even The Dictator, for that matter. Yeah. A little disappointed, but at the same time, I was expecting it.
Coronavirus remains low. As the president said yesterday, we're ready for anything.
Michael Penis, I brought the girl for you.
Borat's subsequent movie film. You fist me. Now I fist you?
All right, there you go.
What do you prefer? You fist me or I fist you?
Same time.
Fist each other.
There you go.